what I'm talking about here for your visual reference is the old way of doing passwords, where you would try to make it hard to crack your passwords, but the converse is, is that it's hard to remember, and easy to remember is easy to crack. Now, I want to introduce you guys to a new way that I've invented to make passwords that's easy to remember, but it's hard to crack. So the old way is that you end up with, in reality, the same password that you use for several sites. The new way is that you're going to have a different password for each website, but it's still going to be easy to remember. So the solution, the basic premise of this all, is to make the password the domain of the website. So if you go to Chase Bake, your password's going to be chase.com. But that's too easy to crack. So we're going to add one or two layers of complexity to that. So let's take a look before we get into that. Let's look at this example about what a strong password is. Strong passwords generally are about 8 to 12 characters. So we're just going to say an average of 10 characters. They usually have a capital letter and 2 numbers, and so this is what it looks like here. The red would be the capital letter, the 2 numbers would be over here, the blue. So we're going to plug in an example into that. So Chase. So using this password policy, this is what we would do. We would take the first 4 letters of the domain, and if there isn't 4, we would just repeat. So if it was bed.com, we would just we would use B-E-D and then B again. So it'd be B-E-D and then B. But that's not what we're doing here, because Chase has more than 4 letters. So Chase, C-H-A-S-E, and then 03. Can you think how I got the number 3 for this? It's 3 is the number that the letter C corresponds to in the alphabet. So it's just attached at the end here. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick a key in the middle. And this 2, 4, 6, and 8 is going to get populated with a key that corresponds to this number, to 3. So 3 is actually a file, and then we pull out of the file, we pull out a key and plug it in there. So let's take a look at the key that we have, and this will be explained further, so bear with me. This is the key. The key is door. We plugged it right into Chase. Look at this password. If anyone finds this password, unless they've watched this video and know that you're using this, it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to make any sense of this at all. So we've got this big blurb of characters, and you can see how it changes for each website. Because if you have another thing, another bank or another website that begins with C, yeah, you'll still use the same file, but you'll have different letters for the name of the domain. Now let's talk about, and I'll get to in a second, how to make this even more secure. There is an additional thing that you can do after this, but let's talk for a second about making this happen, actually creating files so that each domain that you have can have a unique file. So in order to do that, we have a checklist. We need to create the files, and these files should be actual things that live in your house. Or when I say live, they don't have to be alive, but things like doors, chairs, windows, they should be scenes that you're familiar with in your house or your office. And then after we install those files, we're going to attach a number or a letter to those files. So we saw 3 was door. Let's see where that came from. We've got a scene in here, and here's the scene. This photo was taken by designer Jeremy Levine, and this is used with permission. You can visit his website at I believe it's jeremylevine.com. He's a designer in California. He did this. Anyway, we see here a scene. Let's pretend this is your house. Let's assign some files to it. Let's say number 1 is the chair here. Let's say number 2 is the window. Number 3 is the door. Number 4 is the globe, and number 5 is the desk. So you can see when we went to that Citibank or that Chase example, we had 3 was door, file number 3. C is 3, is door. D is 4. E is 5. So the next step in this sequence is to create letters and attach those letters to the files. And those can be this could be really in any order you want. I just suggest, to make it easy, you leave the letters as they are in the alphabet. So A is the first letter in the alphabet, B is the second, C is the third, D is the fourth, etc. Now once you do this, the easiest way is to do it in some sort of a motion around your house. So you'll start looking at the chair, touch the chair, run over and sit on it and say 1 is chair, 2 is window, 3 is door, 4 is globe, spin it around, 5 is desk. And so you'll install this room after room. And this is based on a memorization theory by Ron White, who is a memorization coach. You can find him by Googling Ron White. And he uses objects to create files and then associates memories with that. So it works quite nicely with in this case. So once you do that for every letter of the alphabet, you will be able to just plug in based on this formula. You'll be able to just plug in the first 4 letters of the domain, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll just add your key. Now you might be asking, how do I make this safe? What if someone hacks me and finds my C key? Or what if someone finds my F key? Well, that's good. That's a good question to ask, because that's actually happened to me before, where someone got one of my keys. So what you do is you do a shift. Imagine all the letters of the alphabet on a circle, and you, instead of memorizing new files or whatever, you just memorize a shift. Meaning, if you do, for example, a +3 shift, you're going to take the alphabet here, and you're going to shift it over 3 in the positive direction. So L becomes M, N, O. And I'll bring this down here. So O. O is the new L. L, M, N, O. Right. O is the new L because we did a +3 shift. So what you would do is your file, you would insert the file +3. So instead of in this example door, we would actually do file number 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now it could stay this way, or you could change the number at the end. It all depends on your preference. But make sure you make a rule and you stick to the rule and be consistent. So that's pretty much how it works. The shifts, I want to point out, it could also be -1, where you move in the other direction. If you go past Z, let's say you're at this thing's kind of going out of control here. Let's say you're at Y, and you do a +3 shift. Well, there is no, Y is the 25th letter of the alphabet. There is no 28th letter of the alphabet. So you would go C, A, B, and then Y would become the file of B.